Can I tell
What's
you I was on my
up?
mind?
What's up? What's up?
Can I get a
I
couple
know
things off
you
my
can
chest?
hear me. Please tell me you can hear me. What's up? What's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, William Jewell. Giving you my detail. Let's articulate. This is articulating. Rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new content and all the new posts when I make them. I just came here to articulate and give you the details from a microscopic and telescopic lens of hip hop from far away and close up. Right, and I'm on my Michelob Ultra today. And usually I make these videos on the weekends, and that's usually when I partake in the Michelob Ultra, the light beer, right? Some people say it's lightweight, right? Some people say it's just like drinking water. But I believe in health and I believe in not getting drunk. So I want to get a little buzz, a little feel good in my body, but I don't want to get too loose. You know what I'm saying? Right? You can't trust a loose booty because it's been ran through. Right? So I just want to get a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Get in my vibe, right? Get my spirits right. So man, just appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for supporting. You know, I'm still going strong. I'm closing the gap on year 2. Right? And as usual, a lot of things have happened in hip hop, right? Since the last time I spoke to y'all, right? And I believe that Drake is the gift that keeps on giving. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, he's definitely polarizing. You know, whether you feel sorry for him or you just can't respect what he's done as a man, as a rapper in hip hop, he's still in the headlines, he's still in the news, he's still relevant, he's still being talked about, and I think that's what his strategy was all along. No bad all publicity is good publicity, no matter if it's bad, no matter if it's good, right? Because at the end of the day, people are still talking about him. Every picture that he makes on Instagram is being posted on different blog sites. Everything that he says is being quoted, right? So he's the gift that keeps on giving. And I've been sitting right by the Christmas tree opening up these presents. And some people might not agree with what I say. Some people might not like what I say. Some people might appreciate what I say, but first and foremost, I'm a man. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm educated. Right? So at the end of the day, right, I'm going to give you this viewpoint from that type of lens. Whether you can relate to my lifestyle or whether you can relate to the way I think, it doesn't matter because I'm going to think outside the box. And I can recall a couple years back when Drake had to get off tour. He canceled some tour dates a couple years back. Y'all don't remember that? That's when he got on tour with Lil Wayne and J. Cole to make up those dates. Y'all don't remember he canceled a couple of tour dates before? Y'all don't remember when he got off the tour to Her Loss? He said he was going to take a break. He said his stomach was hurting, right? He had to drink some Pepto Bismol. He had to eat some Tums for his tummy tum. Said his stomach was in bad shape, bad condition. He needed a tummy tuck, right? I don't know, but I do recall that Drake canceled a tour before, and here he is yet again among us as a mere mortal parading around as if he's a superhuman, but we know that he has a weakness. We know that he isn't as strong as he presents himself to be. Right? He made an Instagram post saying that I made y'all think I was relatable, so y'all thought I was like y'all. No, no. I see that you're getting your body done. You're getting your BBL. You're not like us. That's not anything that I can relate to. Those abs sketching. Another V12, fast one. Stomach that and tell the where you get your abs from. Right? But based on these tour dates, here's what the OVO camp is saying. Drake has canceled the remaining 4 sold out shows on his Australia and New Zealand tour, the Anita Maxwin tour. The shows were postponed due to a scheduling conflict, Drake reps tell The Hollywood Reporter. We are actively working on rescheduling these dates along with adding some additional shows, said the rep. All tickets for the affected shows will remain valid for the new dates. Refunds will be available for those who prefer, but please note that as these shows are sold out, any refunded tickets will be released for sale. Right? And, it's my job to articulate, it's my job to give you the details. And as I mentioned beforehand, Drake's health has not been in the right place. Also, he got on this tour to pretty much drown out the noise of Kendrick Lamar on the Grammys and on the Super Bowl. And then as soon as he dropped some sexy songs for you, and then it went #1 on the Billboard album charts, he feels like he saved face. He feels like he's not defeated. He feels like he just wanted to go to Australia, right, to get that love and be at a place far away from that type of news coverage. And I think once he felt like the coast was clear, he wanted to show himself again, right? That's one theory. Other people are saying that some of these shows are not actually sold out, but it's Drake. So, I don't care. Like, if Drake can't sell out a show in Australia, who gonna be able to sell out a show in Australia? Right? At the end of the day, people still fuck with Drake, especially if we talking about globally, especially if we talking worldwide. Right? And hip hop is different. The culture is different. A lot of people might not be tuned in to how we run things here in the USA. Right? So obviously, our neighbors in Canada don't even know, because if they knew, they would do better, and someone didn't do better. So, my take on this is that those they're so here's something else that they're saying. Basically, they're saying within those 4 shows are going to be done in a 16-day time period. So within those 4 dates, there will be 12 days that he's not doing anything. But he knew that when he scheduled this tour, he knew that he was not going to be doing anything. I just think that maybe he doesn't like Australia like that. I just think that, maybe he feels like his face is clear of all the mud that's been thrown his way. And I feel like now he's ready to shift into something else. I think this is just another chapter. Maybe he will go back and finish up those tour dates, but they said the ticket sales can be refunded, right? So the fact that they letting people know that these ticket sales can be refunded, I don't think that he's going to go back and finish up those dates. I heard Australia is 22-hour plane ride from Canada. I doubt that he'd want to go back and do that. Maybe if they're back to back, which makes sense. I think those 12 days, he wanted to have those 12 days. He wanted to be away. But I think since some sexy songs for you did well on the charts, it's being received well by his fans, and that he's still alive, I believe that that's why he's chosen to leave because he didn't want to be there from the beginning. But he chose to be there because that was a secluded spot and that will protect him like mentally from all the coverage going on with Kendrick in the Super Bowl and in the Grammys. And also, he has stomach issues. Like nobody said that that cleared up. And if Drake admits to the public that he's still dealing with his health issues, it's going to make him look weak. It's going to make him look worse. And it's going to make him look defeated. So, I mean, that's another thing that we got to think about, right? I don't think it's just a mental health thing. But we know that Drake did get another W besides the collab album going number one. We know Drake got a W with the iHeart Media, right? Drake has reached a settlement with iHeart Media. And I'm just going to read the article. Drake has reached a settlement with Texas-based iHeartMedia in his ongoing legal dispute over Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us, according to court records. In November, Drake filed a legal petition in Bexar County, Texas, where San Antonio is located, so you could say Bexar or Behar, located, alleging that iHeartMedia had received illegal payments from Universal Music Group to boost radio airplay for Not Like Us. UMG is the parent record label for both Drake and Lamar. The petition, a precursor to a potential lawsuit, had sought dispositions from corporate representatives of both companies. In a court document filed Thursday, attorneys for Drake said the rapper and iHeartMedia had reached an amicable resolution of the dispute, but did not offer any other information. We are pleased that the parties were able to reach a settlement satisfactory to both sides and have no further comment on this matter. So I just think, that's media games. I think that's media games because this was the last petition that was left on the docket, right? This was the last one that was left. As far as Spotify, he let it go, right? iHeart Media, maybe he did have some maybe he did have some ties with them to where like they could negotiate something. No telling what the amount was, no telling what the resolution was or the settlement was, but maybe he did have some connections with them or at least some good rapport with them to where he was able to let them know, hey, let's just do this, and in the public eye, it'll seem like, I got something from it. Right? Because whether he did get something from it or not, at the end of the day, I feel like publicly this narrative is moving in his favor, right? Because publicly it's looking like that iHeartMedia settling with Drake is an admission of guilt. But when we look at the Spotify petition, Spotify didn't settle with him, right? UMG didn't settle with him. But the fact that iHeartMedia settled with him, and to be honest, they didn't have to show any records. They didn't have to show any of the documents that they had. But from what my understanding is that the FCC radio waves, they were already under hot water with the FCC. And does payola exist? Payola exists, right? Drake has benefited from payola. We know payola exists. Drake has benefited from bots. So whether Kendrick Lamar has benefited from them, we know Drake has benefited from them. And if Drake has benefited from them, he knows, and they know he knows. And if they both know, and the FCC is breathing fire up iHeartMedia is back about radio play, then I think this is another way to kind of at least get them off their back and clear the smoke. And even if like they felt like they was participating in some wrongdoing, this will at least get the finger pointed away from them. And regardless if they settled with Drake with any money, Drake wins just because of the headline shifts the narrative that this is some admission of guilt. Do I believe this is some admission of guilt? I believe it could be, right? I believe it could be. But if you're iHeartMedia and Drake is not the only other artist, Kendrick is not the only other artist that you've been accused of doing payola for, right? And Drake's powerful. He has the money to continue to pursue this. If you have other artists that you've did payola for in the past and the FCC is breathing down your neck, it's beneficial regardless to get this off the docket. This is beneficial. So I feel like iHeartMedia was in a lose-lose situation. You know what I'm saying? Whether they settle with him and it seems like an admission of guilt, or they didn't settle with him, and then the FCC and this petition continues to try to look at the documents. At the end of the day, let's just keep the documents safe, right? Because UMG is not the only record label we're dealing with. Kendrick Lamar, Drake is not the only artist that we've used payola for. So let's try to keep ourselves out the limelight, right? So that's how I look at it. That's, to me, is the most that's the most reasonable explanation for this at the end of the day, right? It's not that complicated. But let's go on to some new music. Some new music. Thank you, Drake, for the gifts. Thank you for staying in the headlines as long as you have. You're also keeping the name of Kendrick Lamar and They Not Like Us alive. So I guess we can appreciate you for that. But I like to talk about the new music because Ray Vaughn is impressive. It's not too many young artists that I like that I gravitate to, because at the same time, when you hear somebody from the first time, it's all about the cadence of their flow. It's all about the texture of their voice. It's all about the believability, the authenticity, the genuineness that comes across, and the energy and the wavelengths and the frequencies on how they deliver this track. It's a whole bunch of things to me that makes me get drawn to an artist. And even before Ray Vaughn responded to Joey Badass, I was drawn to Ray Vaughn's ability to rap, right? And this Cemetery Lanterns, this new single that he's released, and of course I'm going to review some albums, but this new single that he released, it deserves some recognition. It deserves some attention when we talking about, right, Tall Boys. When we talking about how, like, there's no real rap left. There's no new energy that's being given to hip hop. No new life. No new resurgence of newer artists. We look at TDE and they have Doechii. They have Ray Vaughn, right? And then on a smaller scale, or on a bigger scale, you might could say Isaiah Rashad. They have people, but the storytelling about a gang member trying to be down, trying to do whatever for the OGs, for the big homies, end up getting killed, and also telling it from the perspective of what happens when one of those people die and the mothers and the families are distraught. What happens when the brothers You know what I'm saying? When everyone's distraught and putting into context like what gang banging like will where it will get you at the end of the day, where these affiliations can land you at the end of the day, trying to appease a big homie or trying to stand tall for a OG that at the end of the day just sees you as another pawn on the chessboard. So I like the detail. I like the storytelling of Rayvon. I like the passion that you know comes out. I like the passion that he brings, and just the energy, just the intensity, the weight on like which he's trying to rap at. And then the production was great. Felt like spookiness. Felt like Halloween time in February, or what I say March 1st, but it came out February 28th. I'm recording this March 1st on a Saturday. I usually record on Sunday, but just giving us that spooky feel because damn, it's a spooky ass story. But this story has been told over and over again, especially with affiliates on the West Coast where that gang culture was founded, right? And then we go to the East Coast, right? We go over there to Jim Jones, Harlem, the Bronx, right? Because him and Cameron and 50 Cent, and they've been in this beef triangle, right? Everybody pointing a finger at Jim Jones. And the thing about Jim Jones is he's resilient too. He's gonna stand tall too. He's tough too, right? And he's consistent with what he does, right? And he a hustler. He go hard at what he does. He goes hard for what he does. And that's something that you can respect as a man. That's something that you can respect as somebody inspiring fashion, inspiring with content, inspiring with hip hop. Like Jim Jones is a great example, especially how to go the independent route and how to do it. But when it comes to this album, At the Church Steps, I heard a lot of New York media hyping up this album, but I didn't go into it with any expectations. But I went into it, I listened to it, and I didn't see what all the hype was about. Jim Jones, he can rap, he can give you some lyricism, but I feel like as a rapper, we don't take Jim Jones as serious as he takes himself, right? We see Jim Jones as the personality more than I think we see Jim Jones as the rapper, right? The braids, the fashion, the talk, the game that he be spitting. I think that's what we appreciate from Jim Jones the most, not necessarily his musical contributions, because when we think about his musical contributions, yes, ballin', pop champagne, yes, he's had some things, but nothing like that really stands out besides that. Right. And when I listened to At the Church Steps, those first three or four songs, I really was like, okay, Jim Jones, this is a good album. This sounds good. This sounds nice. This is great. This is soulful. This is introspective. This is thoughtful. This is emotional. Um, this is lyrically inclined, right? But as the music went on and I realized I was going to have to listen to 17 tracks, and I realized there was a whole bunch of features, especially of the same dudes, right? I realized that the production, it started to wane. It started to be inconsistent with the theme that I heard at the very beginning. It sounded like he was trying to do a new take on New York drill, but the bass, the bass was hollow. The snare, or whatever you want to call it, the drum was a little bit more hollow. It was a little bit more empty. it wasn't enough thump. It wasn't enough 808. So I think the production was inconsistent because it had some good parts and then it had some lows, and then the hooks. I am not a fan of the hooks. Sound like the dude that was singing Pop Champagne on most of these hooks. Some hooks was okay, but like when we talk about good song making, then we gotta think about hooks, right? Songwriting, the verses do matter, but the hooks is what separate the verses, is what separate the song, overall, because we've heard a lot of songs with good hooks and mediocre verses that overpowered good verses and mediocre hooks. So we know the format and the formula of what a good rap song should sound like, right? And I believe like you can get in your introspective bag. I believe you can get in your storytelling, your street nigga bag, but still deliver these qualities of the formula that's already been set before us. And I feel like some rappers get in their own way on wanting to use certain artists, wanting to do favors, wanting to appease, certain groups that they are around their circle, try to put somebody on, and sometimes it don't work out. And Kendrick did it right when he featured Lefty. He featured AZ Shike. When he featured Peso, Hitter J3. He did it right. But I feel like the overuse of features, and especially the same person that's not really enhancing your sound, I believe that's a disservice to your fan base and to your sound, right? So I think he tried to do what he could do, but I don't believe what he tried to do worked, right? I don't believe what he tried to do worked. And I mean, now we got to go back to the West Coast. Because this person deserves an apology for me. He deserves some credit from me because I doubted him. I didn't anticipate him to shine after his release from TDE, and I didn't expect him to come back as soon as he did from his release with TDE, and it was nasty. Right? It was nasty because they was on podcasts and Top Dog's son Musa was trashing Reason, right? And Reason, they was going back and forth and was like, bro, you ain't got no good music. That's why we not letting you release it. And Reason just wanted to be gone. He wanted to be out of that situation because he felt like TDE didn't really believe in him. He was the TDE stepchild. He didn't get the Kendrick stimulus package like most of those artists got. Right? And Reason, you're not the best rapper from Delama. You know who that is. Absol. But shout out to Reason, Carson, California. Shout out to the album I Love You Again. And I think that's a letter to hip hop. That's what he's saying to rap. Because it felt like he was free. It felt like he was energetic. It felt like he was light, like he was on the clouds, but not high. Right? Like high, but with wings, flying to different destinations and different locations and bringing these people together so they could see how high they could go with him if they just watched how he spread his wings. I like what Reason did. The production was great. The production was the best production that I heard from him. And all the other songs and albums I heard from him was more lo-fi. It wasn't as energetic. The album had some concepts to it, but this album, it was delightful. Right? He's no Ray Vaughn to me. Right, and I'm not saying Ray Vaughn's better, but he's somebody that is showing that he can rap, and he's giving you different flows, different cadences, and just his energy on these beats. It was just refreshing. It was just surprising. So the reason that I knew before this album was not the same reason that I'm hearing now. And the reason that I'm hearing now has gotten my attention. Has gotten my attention. But I don't know how much he can elevate from this point. Right? I don't know how much further he can go up, because he had the TDE backing behind him at one point. Now he's independent. So unless another label swoops him up and gives him that major label backing, I don't know how much he can garner from this point forward. I think if he can get better than this, it will be, surprising to see, right? But, if he can stay at this level, at this frequency, I think this is a good frequency, a good consistency as an independent artist for him to stay at, right? So, shout out to Reason. Keep going, bro. And there's no more rain in this house. My sunshine has come. And I'm all dried out. And there's no more rain in this house. Man. Black brother. Strong brother. Come on, Angie. Damn, Angie Stone. R.I.P. Angie Stone. She recently passed away. I don't know if it was today or yesterday in a fatal car crash. She was 63 years old, right? So my condolences to her family and her loved ones. And she definitely made an impact in music. And she will definitely be missed. But just those songs, like right there, that soulful, that neo soul era, where they were just digging into your spirit and getting you to feel music as if you were one with it, as if it was a silhouette dancing with you in, rhythmic vibrations, right? That's what neo soul was. And I believe she's definitely a pillar of the foundation in neo soul. She's just as important as Erica, Jill, India, right? So Angie Stone, thank you for brother. Thank you for Rain. Just thank you for your contribution to music. R.I.P. Gene Hackman, right? Actor. Lived till he was 95 years old, but damn. Just sad to hear of his passing. And damn, Lil Baby. That's a question cause I don't really get into the police shit. I really don't get into that like that. But Lil Baby, he got me thinking, like, I can see now why Wham sounded like Wham sounded like. I could see why he was saying he can't rap about the things that he wanted to rap about. I could see why now he's saying rapping was a job to him because of what he was actually participating in on the side. And he can't loosely use his lyrics in a way that would indict him, because he saw what happened to Young Thug. He saw what happened to Dirk. He saw what happened to Kendrick Lamar when Drake tried to petition for Not Like Us. He saw what those lyrics could do to him. And I don't believe he could really deliver the passion and the authenticity that he would have been able to had he not had those laws on his back. And Atlanta is definitely looking to make an example. But the sad thing is that he was doing a video shoot on rival turf, and during a shootout, two teenage boys were killed in the midst of that, and another third one was shot in the foot but lived. So that was sad, and I could see how that could weigh on someone. And I believe what we seen from Lil Baby is what that weight did to him. And just thinking about that, I really kind of got to give him a pass, because I was a harsh critic on Wham. I thought Wham was a good album, but I thought Wham was more of what we've already heard from Lil Baby. And he does have intentions on dropping more music, so I'm interested on hearing what that music will sound like. And he definitely got some things to talk about now, especially since that arrest. So I'm sure he's in the booth now, motivated, right, but still trying to stay within those lines of legality. And man, so Lil Baby, keep your head up, bro. Prayers for you, because although like it could have been your gang. It could have been your gang versus another gang. What we don't want to see and what we don't want to do is have kids get killed, right? And he didn't do this knowingly. He didn't get involved on this on purpose. But this is just a byproduct of what happens when you're trying to do something like this in a gang territory. So, I mean, the blame doesn't rest on your shoulders, but I'm sure you're accepting it as if it does. And if that weigh on you and that's a reason why we haven't gotten the baby that we've usually been getting from you, then, man, my heart goes out to you, right? But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, William Jewell, giving you my details as I articulate. This is articulating rap, rap, rap.